Hello, well it's Monday morning, hope you all had a great weekend. Got a little treat for you today, really colourful, so if you've got paints you can paint it with us, if not get your brightest felt tips out. We're going to do an amazing parrot, so let's start drawing. Okay, so we're just going to warm up on a bit of scrap paper just for a minute or two, get our hand nice and warm. And what we're going to have today is lots of ovals. So you can see that's just a nice oval shape, keeping my hand really loose. When I'm doing it, I'm probably going to do it in lots of short strokes, like that. But keeping my arm and my wrist really loose on these ovals, which will make up the head and the body. Now, the key, I've said this before, the key is about not pressing hard. If I press hard, ooh, and then I think, oh no, it's not quite right, and I try to rub it out, it won't be able to do it. If I go, ooh, very lightly, it means that I'll be able to go back and change any of the marks. So really light first lines, that's what I want you to think about today. And just do a few little ovals, which look a little bit like eggs. So I don't know whether any of you have been thinking about eggs at all this weekend, and that's the warm-up. Right, so let's draw our parrot. Now we're going to start with a long, thin oval, which will form the main bit of his body. But I want you to think before you start about where we're going to put this shape. So mark a little point in the middle of the paper. So that's pretty much exactly in the middle. And what I'm going to do is take my pencil just a little bit to the side of there, and we'll go up to here, and that will give us the start. So it's just a little curve. Going up to it, we'll probably come down a bit, not quite a quarter of the way up. This is a really big shape we're doing. And then coming round, so you can see it's not round at all. It is really, although it's curved, we want it on a slight angle. And this is going to form the body of the parrot. So if you just watch for a minute or two, and then we will sit and pause it, and you can pop your parrot body in. I'm going to go to there, and that is my first shape. So I drew the lines very lightly so I can go back in if I need to and change them, but I'm actually fine with that. That's fine, that's going to form my first basic shape. And the next thing is going to be an overlap. So starting about there, we're going to cut the head off. And I want you to, not cut the head off, cut it off the top of the body to put in the head. I want you to do a line kind of like that, very lightly, because we're going to rub that out. Now that line will help us see that this shape needs to be on a tilt. This is going to be his head. So it's a kind of an egg shape, just like we were practicing in the warm-up, on a slight tilt. So that's the egg shape in. Think about that shape there. Can you see the shape within the shape? That's a sort of triangle there. Now here, on this bit, we're going to separate this out like that, with just a little curve. And then from the top, this is what's going to become the beak. Curve it down. Now with that, I want you to think about the space there and how far down, because they've got these long curving beaks, so how far down it comes to about there. So you can pause now and pop in those first shapes. Right, we'll pop in the wing now. So if you're thinking, come about halfway across there, like that. I'm going to take the line right down to about there, in a curve, keeping the pencil mark nice and loose to there, and then take this right down and back for the wing. And coming up here, slightly higher on this side, and taking it out, curve it down. There we go. It's starting to look a little bit more parrot-like now. What he really needs is this lovely long tail. So from the bottom, I'm going to take the tail out. Now he's clearly sitting here at the moment, floating in mid-air. So what we need to do is to give him something to hold on to. So we've got a line coming here, and another line there. This is going to be the stick that he's standing on, and eventually we'll draw a tree here. I want a semicircle there for the end, and then just some lines which we will turn into his feet at the next stage. So we've got a line there, a line coming round, and there. And then take your rubber and just rub out some of the joining lines here. And that little line there. So you can see why it's really worth us keeping these lines very, very light. Okay, and if you pause and come to that shape, and then we'll finish it in the last bit. Right, so final shapes now, really to turn him into a parrot. So we're going to start with this beak here, take it out there. It's really much bigger over the top. So to there, and this bit's quite important. So we've got that specific parrot one, so it's straighten slightly and then bring it over. So we've got that curve. And then here, we bring it down. So think about that shape there. Can you see that particular shape there? How it joins. Now, where we've got the egg shape, what I want us to do is to just take that slightly flatter on the head, round here, and where it comes right in, I'm going to take it so it's more straight down. Can you see the change I've made there? So we've got the beak in, and we'll take this head in here. And now we'll put the shape in for the eyes. So first of all, for the different colours, because you can use some glorious colours in this, we'll take it out and round like that. And then the eyes are really simple on this. So take that to there. So you've got that's where it is. Think of the position first. You've got a circle, surrounded by a circle, surrounded by a kind of dotted circle. Okay, so that is the head. Right, and now if we come down, we're going to just adapt slightly that shape there by coming out. And with the wing, I'm going to take it nice and loosely. You always think that these bits will be the hardest parts, but they're not the hardest parts. These are the details. And because you've got the basic shapes in properly, that's what is the tough bit. That's the bit that it's important to get right. This is just adding bits to it. Now here, I'm just going to put a few marks in, because when I come on to do the colouring, you'll see what I'm going to do there. So that's our parrot done, except for his feet. And what I'm going to do is take these. They're probably not feet, are they? Claws. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth knows about parrots. There we go. She doesn't really. Henry, my son, is desperate for a pet parrot. We will not be getting one. There we go. So we've got his little claws coming around. You can add some circles there into the stick. And then we're just going to put a line up here as if it's the side of a tree. And he's sitting on a tree. We'll take that round there. And we'll take that round there. You can really decorate this in any way you want. So you go back in, rub out any guiding lines that you've got before you start colouring or painting. You can put in a few lines there for the tree, and that is your finished drawing of a parrot. So now you can go off and colour this if you've got felt tips or pencils. If you've got some paints, then stick with us, and we're going to show you how you could do this using watercolour pencils. Right, so I'm going to use watercolour pencils for this. Elizabeth and I were a little exhausted after the marathon that was Peter Rabbit painting. So we're just going to treat ourselves with a bit of watercolour pencil today. This is actually Elizabeth's insistence. So we're going to start here in the tree. We'll just do the tree, and I'm going to do this very quickly. Just coming round. I'll go right round his little claws there. And I'm actually going to use 3 browns. Just want to show you what you can do with these pencils, how you can mix the colours. So I'll put a bit of the pigment on the paper there. I'm going to do the same with that one. Oh no, that's 2 browns. It's 2 browns. That one's a black. And then I'll take my paintbrush and I'm going to turn it to paint. So you see, oh, magic. Magic. We do absolutely love these. Now we are really trying our hardest to get hold of as many as we can so that we can start getting them to you. So just please keep an eye on our Facebook page, on our other social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, and as soon as we've got some that we're able to sell, we will let everybody know, because we're having so many messages from people who are desperate to get hold of these magic pencils. There's a reason. They are amazing. We're going to go in now with the red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right round the edge of it here with this red. And down the edge of his wing. I'm going to do the top bit in a little bit of red, but the rest of them are going to be in different colours. So we'll go here. Around it. Now this is your parrot. Please feel free to colour it in any way that you want. So I'm going to put in a little red bit there in the tail. And a couple of other red bits. I'll leave space for a big bit of blue there. But because it's a parrot and lots of them have got different colourings, I will confess my parrot knowledge is not strong. You can, maybe you could Google parrots, get some different foliage, different patterns for the feathers, different colours. I know they've got blue and yellow ones, haven't they? Elizabeth told me a fascinating fact about parrots earlier, which was how old do they live to?
I'm not sure. They're all different.
They're all different, but they do live decades. They're not a short-lived pet. They are a very long-living pet. Many years. This was my argument against Henry having one when I found out how many years they lived, how many decades they lived for. Right, so I've got the red going around there, and I'm actually going to put the other colours in because I want the other colours to all go in together. So I'm going to go green at the bottom here. This is just me picking these colours. You really do not need to put those in. And I'm going to put in a bit of blue, just because I love blue. You can see I'm not particularly colouring very carefully here. I'm just trying to get the pigment on the paper. It's the brush and the water that will do the work and put the magic in. It's not magic, I know it's not. And then let's have a gorgeous flash of orange here. I'm going to go quite heavy with that because I do love a bit of orange. Okay, and now let the magic begin. I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to turn the red first. Let's start here. Oh, it's actually pretty pink there. I've used an alizarin crimson, I would say, rather than a strong red, which has given me a slightly pink bird. That's fine. Now I want to keep an edge there. So as I turn it, I'm being careful. You'll see the difference with what I'm about to do on the next bit. Down here. And the same here, I'm going to keep that edge, keep the paint within. It's worth, when you're using watercolour pencils, to test them first, which clearly I didn't do, to see to check what the colour is like once you turn it to paint. You can see how much pinker this is than it was when we were just colouring in with it. I'm going to take that down like that. Now I'm going to clean my brush because I really want these colours to come through quite strongly. I'll turn the orange first. Then I'll turn the blue. But I really, though I'm happy for some bits to run into each other, I want to keep these bits very strong. If I clean my brush again, can you see how vibrant they are? This was just from pressing hard to get pigment onto the paper. Right, and now I'm going to let the paints mix in slightly with each other. You see? So that I don't have a solid edge. It's as though the colours are all just mingling together. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And then actually I can come straight on to this bit now. I'm just going to go around his claws in black, which I won't turn that. I'm just going to leave it like that, but I will put a few details in the wood as well. like that. And then I'm going to come very carefully, because some of my paint's still wet. I'm going to go around the edge here with my black watercolour pencil. Now with those bits, I'm not going to colour in. This bit I am. And if I take my brush, I'll turn that bit to paint here. But these bits, I'm just going to get it off. I just want a bit of the grey in. So if I go into that black paint and I can just lift it, can you see? So I'm not doing the whole beat black, but it's like grey, and you can really see the difference between the top and the bottom. Now, I'll probably go around the edges with a bit of black pencil as well, but it's your parrot. Please feel free to do whatever you like with it. Once it's dry, I'll go over the edges of the wings, but we'll pause it and you'll be able to see the finished picture. But you can fill the background with foliage or jungles or whatever you like. But we would love to see your pictures, so please make sure you send them to us.